All right, the Senate will begin the process of taking up the impeachment trial of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas later this month.
Now, this comes after the Republican-led House cast a historic vote impeaching Mayorkas last night. The House narrowly voted 214 to 213 in favor of the effort. 3 Republicans voted against the measure.
Last night, the House voted to approve articles of impeachment against Secretary Mayorkas. Desperate times call for desperate measures. We had to do that. He has abdicated his responsibility, he's breached the public trust, and he's disregarded the laws Congress has passed.
The office of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer released this statement shortly after last night's vote. You see it on your screen, and it says the upper chamber will start Mayorkas' impeachment trial after senators return to Washington February 26th.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is on Capitol Hill for us. So, Nikole, walk us through what happens now.
Well, you pretty much laid it out there. I mean, what we expect is that the House impeachment managers who have been named, they will present those 2 articles of impeachment over to the Senate. Of course, one of those articles being for willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law on the part of Secretary Mayorkas. That was one allegation that House Republicans made. The other article was related to breach of public trust. Again, in House Republicans' view, they believe that Mayorkas was not truthful with respect to some of the statements that he made about the border, and that he tried to circumvent the oversight, for instance, of the House Homeland Security Committee, which did the bulk of this investigation. So those were the 2 articles. They, again, will be sent over to the Senate, at which point in time then the Senate will take this up in terms of a trial. We don't know exactly what the timetable might be in terms of how long a trial will last, simply because this hasn't happened before in some 150 years. We have seen, for instance, with the impeachment trials of the former president, those went over a series of days. But again, whether or not this is something that will be more clear-cut and occur in a shorter time frame remains to be seen. One thing that Leader Schumer has made clear is that he feels there is not sufficient evidence to move forward with impeachment. He does not feel that House Republicans proved their case, and so therefore, you know, it could be a relatively short trial if that is the belief among some Senate Democrats.
And Nikole, viewers may wonder how any of this helps the business of the people get done on Capitol Hill. The headline you just mentioned about this being the first impeachment of a cabinet secretary in 150 years doesn't help. But you listened to the House Speaker this morning. He was complaining that he wants to meet President Biden, and he just doesn't know why that invite hasn't been handed out to him yet. This doesn't make things easier. What kind of precedent now has been set?
Well, that is the concern that many lawmakers had about moving forward with this, particularly those who opposed it. I mean, that certainly was an argument made, for instance, by Congressman Tom McClintock, Congressman Ken Buck, Congressman Gallagher, among others, who all opposed this because they felt that that threshold, that there was no impeachable offense. And so, you know, in doing something like this impeachment against Secretary Mayorkas, that this does muddy the waters, that it kind of trivializes the process going forward. That being said, it is still a serious process and one that has to be taken seriously, which is why the Senate is planning to take it up. There had been some talk among some Democratic senators who thought this could potentially be scuttled, but again, Leader Schumer making clear that they do intend to fulfill their duties.
All right, we'll keep watching closely. Nikole Killion, thank you very much.
You bet.